Hey, welcome back. I got a few questions today. Go ahead.
With soldiers having all this time off, will they still be allowed summer leave?
Yes, that's absolutely the plan. Fully recognize this is not leave, and most of us are going to need some sort of a vacation or some sort of other experience than sitting in their homes when we come out of this. So yes, we will still have leave. Currently, right now, it is scheduled for 13 to 28 June. Now that may change, and that's going to be conditions based. And once we feel we need to make that decision, because we still won't be out of a restriction of movement kind of stance, as a state, as a military, we'll communicate that as soon as possible. But as of right now, still 13 to 28 June. And if we have to come off those dates, we absolutely will still have a leave period.
Will Third ID suspend the future task force conversion till the COVID-19 pandemic is over?
Yeah, thanks for that question again, SRP. First thing to note, though, that wasn't a Third ID decision to convert us down to an infantry battalion. It's actually an Army decision. And so we'd have to go back to the Army to request a reprieve from that 16 October date that we're driving towards. This is one of the things that we think we can do responsibly during this period of minimal readiness manning. We can still conduct the technical inspections that are required for our equipment. And then we're also looking at pursuing a contract to help us get to 1020 standards for the equipment that we have to divest. So as it stands right now, no, I don't anticipate a change to the date. However, if there's enough of an impact that we look like that 16 October date is going to be in jeopardy, we're going to communicate that to Third ID. And then if we can't take measures internal to the division, then it'll be up to Third ID as to whether they want to pursue a reprieve or a delay to that guidance with the Army.
For soldiers who are about to ETS, are they able to clear while shelter in place is ongoing?
Yes, absolutely. So now fully recognize that we may tell you, hey, yes, you can go clear, and then you show up at CIF that day and CIF says they're closed. Or you show up at Building 35 and there's some aspect of it that's closed. So I ask you to be a little bit more proactive and go into those locations, and or calling ahead of time, especially if you got your clearing papers, and making sure they're open and what are their hours, because they may be at some sort of a reduced hours. But if you're ETSing, yes, you can still go through all those things that you need to do to ETS properly. And then once again, please respect all the things that we've asked you to do in terms of physical and social distancing, washing your hands. Now you're authorized or asked to wear a mask if you cannot maintain 6 foot separation. So please do all those things, but continue your clearing by all means.
What actions besides publishing orders are we really taking to prevent the spread?
So, all right. Publishing orders is the way we communicate the changes, the things, the action items that we're doing. So by publishing orders and then that order then being instituted across the force. So what are we doing? Well, there's 15.2% of the task force that came to work today. So we've already thinned out to minimal readiness manning, doing those things that need to be done, and then bringing in the minimum amount of people needed to get that accomplished. When's the last time you done PT as a group? Probably not for a while. I think March 20th was the last date that was considered normal operations for the task force. So outside of all the orders that tell you to physically and socially distance yourself anything more than 6 feet, now you're authorized to wear a mask if you're in an environment where you can't maintain that 6 foot separation. And everything now is down to minimal readiness manning. So outside of that, and outside of doing these education things, I'm not really sure what else you'd like. If that didn't answer your question, by all means, please come up and execute the open door policy, and I'll be glad to sit down and talk to you so that you can help me understand why you're potentially not seeing what the task force is doing or what your company is doing to help stop the spread.
Why is the task force pushing for Ranger School during a global pandemic?
Yeah, great question. So we still want to professionally develop our soldiers, right? And what better time now when we're really at minimal readiness manning to send leaders, right? All those folks, especially that, hey, I can't go to Ranger School because we got squad live fires and platoon live fires or JRTC and all those other things. So if your question really is, and I think it's probably more prudent to ask, what's the risk mitigation measures are we putting in place so that we send people to Ranger School in a responsible way? Yes, we are working with ARTB to find out what requirements are they going to have so that they can start with a clean class. All right. Some things that we're potentially looking at is, do we quarantine soldiers ahead of time for a certain period of time? Only those soldiers potentially that are symptom-free will start Ranger School. right? And then as our testing capacity comes up online, there's some mechanisms out there. We might be able to get some tests back within 24-hour time frame. Do we look at testing soldiers who are getting ready to go to Ranger School, and once you've been tested, you go into quarantine so that we can guarantee you start in a, without COVID or with a COVID negative test. So still think professional development's important, still think individual development's important, and if we can mitigate that risk as low as possible to get folks started into Ranger School and they're still going to run the course, we're absolutely going to support people going.
Why are we focused on dental appointments during the pandemic?
Yeah, so up until yesterday, dental was one of those things that the Army said, yes, you can continue to do dental appointments because hey, it's a one-on-one event for the most part, or two-on-one sometimes, and everybody's already got all the PPE on anyways. But as it just so happened last night, they said go ahead and stop doing the standard readiness dental appointments. So no dental for the time being.
Why is everyone working Monday and always doing opposite of what's said in these videos?
Yeah, so everyone right now today is 15.2% of the task force. So everyone is not working on Monday. I went down to the motor pool. When I looked at the companies who's got the most here, based on population-wise, right? Gambler and HHC. Gambler's got 27% of their soldiers in for work today, and HHC's got 14%. And like I said, the task force is roughly at 15.2%. All right, and so those folks that do come in are doing what we call minimal readiness manning. One of our missions that we're still being asked to accomplish is the task force conversion. And so we decided to start with Gambler Company, which means needed some operators and needed some maintainers. I think we had about 25 maintainers show up to work today. And the purpose of having them in is so they can do those technical inspections. Technical inspection is a 1 or 2 person operation. One person maintainer with the operator, and they go through using the TM and check everything they need to do on the vehicle. Very easy to maintain 6 foot separation during that process. And if they can't, they're authorized to wear their neck gaiters, not balaclavas, but neck gaiters, or a mask if they've made one. Okay, so not everyone's coming in. There's a lot of misconception about there, both amongst what some of you all are telling your families and what some of you all believe is happening. But no, not everyone is coming in on Monday. And like I said, 27% of Gambler Company, 1 in 3 people, less than that, on average, came in today to do work. Hey, food's still got to be made, right? We still got soldiers that need to eat. And the one mission that we're actually undertaking during this time, because it's something that we can mitigate that risk down pretty low, is those technical inspections. And that's what's going to allow us to then go out and hire some contractors so that we can get some of our equipment up to 1020 standard. Look, I understand that every time people leave their house, there's a little bit of risk involved, and that risk goes up a little bit. We obviously can't get the risk level down to 0. I would even say those are holed up in their homes for 2, 3, 4 weeks. At some point in time, you have to go out to get supplies, and of course now your risk level goes up. We are doing everything we can though to minimize that risk, keep it as low as possible. And you know what? It starts with you. It starts with you making sure that you maintain a minimum of 6 foot separation amongst your peers. And if somebody's coming into your space, you just kindly back away or instruct them, hey, step out of the office, please. Let's finish with one other person or one other customer we got. And then when we're ready, we'll bring you in. Okay, so you can help manage and help reduce that risk across the task force. And once again, thanks for everybody. Thanks for the questions. Keep them coming. And if we're not answering them to the best of what your expectations are, by all means, go ahead and schedule an open door policy with me, and I'll be glad to sit down with you and more fully understand your question and give you a better answer. Get out there and hunt with the pack.